Good morning. It's Thursday. Time to thrive. I'm Marquise Martin Hayes, your host, and it is my pleasure every Thursday to come to you and share different insights and stories that will help you find ways to thrive in your life. That's all we do. Because here's the deal. You don't have to survive. That's just not enough. That's not what life was made for. But when you find tips, tricks, and tools and stories of inspiration to move you, you have the opportunity to thrive. And all of us have that opportunity. So today, we've got two episodes. This first one's going to be with a good friend of mine, a community changer. His name's Jerry Price. He's dynamic. But before we bring Jerry on, real quick spot. I'm a consultant for Rodan and Fields, as you all know. The product I want to share with you today is called Reverse. It is a full regimen designed to help brighten your skin, help remove dark spots, and help your face heal. Using products like this, a regimen that's specifically designed by dermatologists allows your body to recover and heal. I mentioned to you guys yesterday, and I'm going to say it again today. You have 7 seconds to make a first impression. Don't let your largest organ, your skin, be the reason someone makes a negative judgment. Let's get it. Bringing in a friend of mine, his name is Jerry Price. We've been friends since 4th grade. I moved away as a military brat. He stayed and transformed his community using people in his community. And personally, I think he should run for state senator. I think he's amazing. Many people agree, but we'll see what happens. Here comes Jerry. Good morning, bro. How you doing, man?
Good morning. Hey, I'm doing great. And I heard that comment about state senate. We're not even going to discuss that.
What? Man, we need great people in place who know how to make things happen in spite of what's going on around them, man. And you're primed. You're already leading, but you are primed for top tier leadership, period. You just are. And I tell you what, I support you now. I know there are many people across the great state of Michigan that support you. And we don't have to push that today. That's not today's agenda. I know, but we got to drop seeds.
But yeah, I truly appreciate that confidence in me. But one point of contention, you didn't have to tell the viewers that you've known me since 4th grade. That kind of gives them some clues to our age. So we got to make sure we take those clues out. Right?
But wait, with all the white in your beard. See, I met you. I was in kindergarten when you were in 4th grade. I think that's what it was. No, I'm just kidding. Man. I'm teasing, man. How are you, man?
Love it, brother. Love it. I'm doing good. I think under the circumstances, right, and the growth that our country is going through right now, right?
It's growth.
And not even our country. This is a global growth, right? These circumstances over the last 12 days has made us not only look at ourselves, but look at systems and look at structures and look at our communities and our organizations and say, how can we grow? Right?
Yes.
How can we grow?
Yes.
We've been stagnant for too long. So how can we grow? And then how can we thrive? Right? Because that's what this is all about. How can we grow and thrive together as one? So so my heart and soul is feeling the weight of the moment, but I know we can turn this moment into a movement that will begin to change the ways and the things that we see in our world today. So I am thankful and blessed to be here this morning.
Well, listen, man, people don't know much about you. I know about you and I sing your praises, but the world needs to understand. We grew up in Benton Harbor, Michigan. And you can go anywhere in the world and within 3 months find somebody from Benton Harbor, Michigan. How that math works, I have no idea, but it always seems to happen. But one thing I do know about Benton Harbor is that it's always had its challenges, and you found a way to thrive in spite of. So a lot of time, period. So talk to us a little bit about that. Tell us who you are and what it's been like for you and the work you've done, so people get a real understanding, kind of grounded in who Jerry Price is.
Oh, well, thank you. It's rare I talk about myself, so this seems kind of odd to me. But for the sake of the viewers, I am a product that my community raised, right? And it's not just about being from Benton Harbor, Michigan. It's about whatever community you are from, whatever community gave you your marching orders, right?
Yes.
You are a product and a son or daughter of that community.
Yes.
So I always tell people I'm not successful. I've simply been blessed to have a community and people and family members around me and mentors that have helped pour into me to help me grow. Benton Harbor is a very unique place nestled in Southwest Michigan. We sit right on the shores of Lake Michigan. So an absolutely stunning view. I mean, you can go and walk these sandy, clear beaches in this beautiful water, right? It is a gorgeous place to be. But in order to be here, you have to accept all of the scenery, right? And too many times, and I think we do this in our lives, especially on social media now. We only post the beautiful scenes of the things that we are. We never post the scenes or the pictures of our growth, of our challenges, of our obstacles. And Benton Harbor is similar to all of that. We have the beauty, but we also have our challenges, and we have our obstacles, and we have the things that we must overcome and the things that we have to thrive through, right? So Benton Harbor has shaped me in all of those ways. It's made me resilient because early it taught me that I had to make sure I knew my path and I stayed steady to that path no matter what forces was trying to pull me in a different direction. So it made me resilient. Benton Harbor also made me a dreamer. It showed me the possibilities of what it could be. Those beautiful scenes and those beautiful pictures are your dreams that you have yet to materialize in your own life. So Benton Harbor taught me that as well. And then Benton Harbor taught me that you are the heart of the city, right? So no matter where you go, take your heart with you. So that's why no matter where you are in this world, as you said in your opening, you will find someone from Benton Harbor who is proud to be from our city because we carry our heart wherever we go. And that is a product of being a son of this city. And those are the things that this city has taught me. So that's kind of who I am and who I authentically bring to every situation. By profession, as they say, I work in diversity, equity, and inclusion. By passion, that's a passion for me as well. But by passion, I work in the community. I'm all about community and how do we rebuild our community and rebuild it in such a way that's not only inclusive from the heart standpoint, but it's also inclusive from an economic standpoint, from a mental wellness standpoint, and from a overall health standpoint. So I am what you see, right? There's nothing fake about me. I'm as transparent as they come.
It's good. And so tell us about some, like in the work you talked about, your profession and your passion. How have you been able to use that? Because one of the things you said, I don't know if people got, you talked about you carry your heart wherever you go and that you're a product of the city. I didn't hear you talk about the frustration. You talked about the belief, the possibility. And a lot of times when we have challenges like we're experiencing now, we want to remove ourselves from what's around us. I mean, I'm guilty of it, man. I want to leave the U.S. Now, I like the U.S. Don't misunderstand me, but I'm a military brat. I used to live in Germany. And so I've lived overseas, right? That sounds fun to me right now. Not that it's better. But the point is, you've embraced where you are and thrived. So in your work, what are some of the things or highlights that you would say, yeah, it was worth it for pursuing this passion? Yeah, it was worth it. This was the right move from a career perspective.
Well, I think for me, I've always, and this is funny because it wasn't done intentionally, right? I have to give that credit to my parents. My parents really taught me from a very early age that it was about feeling compassion, not only for other people, but for yourself and giving yourself permission to succeed, right? So as I grew up and as I started to work through my professional career, I always kept grounded in the fact that my sole purpose on being here in this world is to make it a better place for myself and others around me, right? So every position that I worked in, and I'm going to go way back, right? My first job, I tell people, we often think of our professional jobs is when we get our first office or we get our first business card, right?
Right.
I think of my first work experience was my first professional job when I was a bagger at a local grocery store, right? That was in my mind, that was my first professional job because it started to give me the opportunities to start to grow and meet people and interact with different people from every single walk of life, right? So I use that baseline job as my starting point to understand the world around me, right? By speaking to people, by saying hello and starting conversations, I started to understand how every other person viewed the world and what lens they saw it through. Did they see me simply as the bagger, or did they see me as this young man that they just had a wonderful conversation with? And what I found out in those early stages is that when you engage people with the right spirit, people engage you with that spirit. Right. So that was my first learning point in life as a bagger at a grocery store is engage with the right spirit, engage with the spirit that you won't return back to you. And when you do that, you start to understand the uniqueness and the differences of people. And it gives you a listening heart that you're able to listen to what a person is saying, not simply by the words they speak, but by the energy that they're giving back to you. So I've carried that in every single position. So as my job description changed, my heart description stayed the same. So as I
pause. Bro, you started by saying your parents taught you your focus was your interaction for your compassion for yourself and compassion for the world as your foundation, which allowed you to show up at your first job and go, that's where my career began, versus how we're traditionally coached to make money, and the money or the position identifies who I am. You were identified as a community, someone responsible for community before you ever showed up at your first job, which, man, okay, so listen, to all my white friends who love me and I love them, who are trying to figure out what can you do? There is a cue in what he just shared. To all my Black and minority friends who are trying to figure out how do you fit in this jungle, what we're calling life and the experience, there is a huge key, starting with having compassion for yourself, and compassion for others as your first priority, as the foundation, as the backdrop to who you are, no matter what you do. So you're not discounting yourself as the bagger, nor are you discounting that person as the bagger.
Exactly. Right. Man. That's a powerful piece. And when we talk about, changing your heart description when your job description changes, what I find a lot of the times as we begin to grow and mature and we move up these ladders, right, and our job description changes, sometimes it changes who we are as authentic people. And we feel a pressure, right?
Come on, man.
We feel this pressure to change who we authentically are, right? And I think it's critical that even if your job description changes, your heart description doesn't, right? Your capacity for compassion should only grow. And that's the key component of that. So when I, began to move my career channels and was able to have more influence, right? Let's just be honest. Certain positions have more influence.
Absolutely.
Right? And think as you grow in influence, think if you grew in compassion. Right. So now I have more influence to do certain things. And if I haven't changed my heart description and my heart is still compassionate towards myself and others, I'm going to use that influence for good. I'm going to use that influence to leverage positive change, the areas that I have that influence over. Right. So that's how we begin to personally thrive. Right. So because that's what excites my soul. So when I personally thrive that way, what's the byproduct? Is that my community or those circles around me begin to thrive too. And those circles look like me, right? Because those are the circles I came from. So as I thrive, they thrive, and we thrive together. But it all starts with that first lesson of compassion and never changing the passion, the compassion description of your heart when your job description changes.
Yeah. Jerry, how do we, like, so I've been saying this for a while. In the Western world, I may be wrong, but this is my opinion. Our culture truly doesn't exist. Our culture's around money, identity versus community and how we fit. So I don't fault anyone that's how our culture has been, but in being responsible now, because so many people want to be responsible now. How do we, like, I have friends who don't believe racism exists. And this is not about racism. This is deeper than that, right? This is why racism came about, because we didn't have the heart matter taken care of. How do, if we find ourselves heartless, that's the extreme of it, but heartless, how do we bring that back? How do we incorporate that back into who we've become? Like, that's a chasm, because for our whole life, it's been this identity, it's been this goal, it's been this money, it's been this stock, it's been my position. How do I bring heart back? Like, how do we do that?
Yeah. You know what? That's the $1 million question, right? I can tell you from my standpoint, what I made an intentional decision to do. I'm 40-ish. I just say ish. I'm 40-ish. Right? I made an intentional decision in my early 20s along those lines, right? And I'll describe it as I'm living a 5G lifestyle, right? And I use the term 5G because that's the latest and greatest and data, streaming collection. Are you 5G? Are you this? Are you that? Right? Because 5G means that you are at the upper echelon of innovation, and you're getting the fastest, the most efficient way of receiving and sending data, right? So what if we had that in our life to get back to compassion? So I use the term 5G, and each one of those G's is something different, right? We have to have grace, gratitude, guidance, be willing to give, and lastly, have God, right? Those are the 5 G's that I live my life through. And every single day, I try to exhibit at least one of those G's, but I try to do as many of them as possible daily, right? Because when I extend grace, I extend that grace not only to others, but I extend that grace to myself as well. Because sometimes, let's just face it, brother, we all need grace. Sometimes you just got to give me grace. This is one of them days I'm going to ask for grace. Right?
I know I do.
Right? So I give grace. And then gratitude, right? We have to find those things that we can show gratitude about in our lives, right? So many times we focus on the problem, not knowing that we can also focus on the solution. So giving gratitude for the good things that I have going on, right? Because that keeps us centered. It keeps us focused on hope, right? And then guidance. We can't do this alone, right?
No.
We have to seek guidance. We have to seek counsel. And that can come from mentors, that can come from friends, that can come from family, that can come from coworkers, my boss, my spiritual leader. Seek guidance, because guidance helps us chart our course. And it helps us, reflect on what we're doing. Right? And then give, right? We need to give all of those things too. We need to give grace. We need to give gratitude, and we need to give guidance. Right? And then we look at God, right? And I'm just going to be God has to be at the center, and it's not about my God. Whatever you want to put at that center and what you classify as God, put that in your life. Right? So we start to really look at those things, right? And start to live that 5G lifestyle, that we are efficient, that we are innovative,
Yes.
We are exchanging and getting data
Yeah.
and doing those things. So
Yeah.
when we do all of those 5G, at least for me, it's my way of staying centered. It's my way of caring. It's my way of being compassionate. It's my way of being connected to things that may not be of me, but there are things that can be influenced by me. Right. So those are the ways that I tell people those 5Gs can help you get more back to that compassionate and caring self that we all need to be.
Bro, you have dropped knowledge unheard, man. I love it. I love even the God factor in the end, because when I study religion and faith, the one primary thing all gods had in common was love. So there's no reason to have discrepancy or even make it an issue. Living from that place of guidance, like being willing to go to someone who knows more and ask the questions for, like, we're up. You and I know we're up now. It's our time. But we still have to ask, as we call them, OGs, hey, man, that was for you. Yeah. We're thinking, how do we merge that so that we can carry the 5Gs forward so that the country can actually one day finally be great? Right? Like, it's imperative.
Mm-hmm. And think I came up with that because I needed something to help me stay centered and to help me keep focused. Because like anybody, like any human, I become unfocused. Absolutely. I get sidetracked. I get sidelined, or I get taken out of the game, either physically or mentally. So what are those tips that I could give myself? And what I do is I apply it to every situation, right? Especially today, right? What's going on in this world today? For people who don't look like me, or have the experiences that I have because they're not a person of color, how can I extend them grace?
Absolutely.
How can I extend them grace as they're going through this awakening or journey, right?
Yeah.
I need to extend that.
It's both ways.
So it's both ways, right? So I have to be able to apply that grace to them as well. I have to be able to apply that gratitude that they are even attempting to take this journey with us, right? And become an ally. So I got to give them that, right? Yeah. And then it's not my responsibility, but I have to provide some guidance too, right? I have to provide guidance for those non-people of color or white people who are saying, I want to do this, but I simply don't know how. I don't have to bear the weight of their guidance and knowledge because they need to do that part, but I can give them guidance on, hey, here's some first steps that you can take, right? Yeah. And then I have to give them the ability to make those mistakes that we all make and grow.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, those G's work. That's part of the process, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm grounded in my God, I'm able to do that, right? So those are the first steps that I tell people is, if you use those 5Gs in your life, you're able to work through situations and you're able to not only grow as a person, but you're able to become what you want to see in this world and engage with the spirit that you want to come back to you.
That's good. That's good. I think one of the biggest keys that I'm also getting from you is that we traditionally don't do a good job of giving ourselves those 5Gs. We tend to be very hard on ourselves. And when we aren't giving it to ourselves, it's darn near impossible to extend to anyone else. And so there's a lot of inner work that needs to happen. A lot of inner work with those 5Gs, interacting with those and bringing them to light so that we can extend. Otherwise, it's just gets us nowhere.
Exactly. See, and I think that's where people sometimes get lost is they think it's easy, right? We live in this disposable world, right? If my phone breaks, I just go get a new one, right? If something doesn't work, I just go get a new one. It's disposable, right?
Yeah.
But our spirit and our souls are not disposable.
No.
And we have to invest the time in developing them, right? I just can't throw my spirit out the door because I had a bad day, right? So I have to take that time to invest in myself first, and then give yourself permission, right? And that's what that grace is all about, right?
Yep.
Give yourself permission to say, all right, for the next 30 minutes, I'm blocking everything out.
Yeah.
I'm finna have myself a good cry. I'm finna have myself a good screaming session, a venting session, or whatever it is. Negative thing out of, right? But I'm going to intentionally then say, once I gave myself that grace, now it's time to get back on the path, right? But we have to take those moments so we can re-energize and recharge. Because if you don't disperse that negative energy, it will influence every part of your body, right? So
wait, you got to repeat that. If you don't do what with that negative energy, what's going to happen?
If you don't disperse that negative energy, it will affect every other part of your body, right? That's physical and mental. So we have to get that negative energy out of us.
Absolutely. That negative energy, really quick, he touched on something that we talk about on Wellness Wednesdays. We're going to bring it into Thriving Thursdays because it all really runs together, to be honest. We're just
runs together, right? It runs
if you got negative energy in you, it will cause heart disease. It will cause blood clots. It will cause hypertension. It will cause headaches. It will cause migraines. It will cause cramping. It will cause aching. It will cause cancer.
Exactly.
It's pent up.
Yeah. Think about it, right? You know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a health expert, right? I'll be the first to say that, right?
Yeah.
But what I do know is what we put and keep in our bodies, is what will determine how our bodies react.
Absolutely.
Right? So if all I do every day is eat all bad things for my body.
Come on, man.
And then I sit back and wonder why my body is reacting a certain way. It's what I'm putting in it, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same way with us and our spirit. What are you feeding from? What are you feeding from, right? And how does that have an effect on you mentally, physically, spiritually, and your compassionate heart, right? When we talk about people who lack compassion, they're feeding their spirit something that doesn't allow them to access compassion. So what do I need to do as a person, as an individual whose purpose is to help myself and others? How can I help give them something that's more nourishing for their spirit so I can help them access a more compassionate heart, right?
That's good, man.
So that's what we have to do.
Listen, we are down to the last 2 minutes, and they need to know how to follow your work. They need to know how to put your name on the ballot, and they need to know what you're up to next. So can you tell us how to do that, please?
Look, this is shameless plug, right? You can, folks can follow me on the Make Life Happen Project on Instagram.
Okay.
Look me up on Facebook, Jerry Price on Facebook. But my whole thing is all about, and I'm leave this term with you, right?
Yes, sir.
We've been taught that there are leaders and followers, right? And if you're not a leader, you're a follower. I just want people to change that mindset, right? And I want you to take follower out of your vocabulary. And there are only leaders, right? You are a leader. You are a leader. You are not a follower.
That's correct.
But you do have permission to give somebody else the opportunity to help you co-lead. You're not following. They're simply helping you co-lead. So let's take the term follower out, because I truly believe all people are leaders. Every single person is a leader. We simply give others permission to co-lead with us. So that's the nugget that I want to leave folks with is you are a leader and you're not a follower. So take that vocabulary.
Take it out your vocabulary. Woo!
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, bro. Let me say goodbye to people real quick because you've been phenomenal. So hang in there real quick. Do I really need to say anything else? There's like 20 seconds. Do I need the 5 G's? You're not a follower. You never have been. You're a leader. So lead. Peace.